I have a story that may interest you. It takes place before this country was even a country. They say it couldn't have happened, but it did. They said it was unbelievable, but believe it. Things like that don't happen to men, they said, but they're wrong. This story is absolutely true. Here it is.
My mother would remind me each night before bed to open up my heart to God, for He was kind, merciful, and just. Things changed when my father left a few years later. She never talked of a kind and merciful God again. Instead, she spoke of a prophecy, of a time when all the world would be covered in darkness and the fate of mankind would be decided. One night, I finally got the courage to ask my mother why God had changed, why He was so mad at His children. I don't know, she said, tucking the covers around me. I guess He just got tired of all the bullshit.
Someday, perhaps soon, a message from the depths of space may arrive on our small world. If we wish to understand it, we first have to understand science. As in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence today, the unbridled speculation by amateurs served to frighten many professionals right out of the field. In 1801, a famous physicist was the governor of the French province of Isère. His name was Joseph Fourier. On a routine inspection of the schools in his province, Fourier discovered an exceptional 11-year-old boy, Jean-François Champollion. The boy was entranced by Fourier's collection of ancient Egyptian artifacts, the mysterious fragments of a lost world. Wondered by Napoleon, and now arousing intense interest among scholars and the general public. The boy's attention was caught by a specimen of Egyptian hieroglyphics. To the people of Europe, these exotic images revealed an utterly alien civilization. The classic example of a close encounter of the third kind. Why? What makes it so special?
I'm old, not obsolete.
I think you hurt his feelings.
It is nice to meet you. A nexus point is an event in time of such importance that it gives rise to a vastly different...
The past can change, and so can the future. We can stop.
The star map argument. The constellation called the Big Dipper today in North America has had many other incarnations. Every culture, ancient and modern, has placed its totems and concerns among the stars, from a Chinese bureaucrat to a German wagon. Very ancient cultures would have seen different constellations, because the stars move with respect to one another. We can give a computer the present three-dimensional positions and motions of the nearby stars, and then run the patterns back into time. Every constellation is a single frame in a cosmic movie. But because our lives are so short, because the star patterns change so slowly, we tend not to notice it's a movie. 1,000,000 years ago, there was no Big Dipper. Our ancestors, looking up and wondering about the stars, saw some other pattern in the northern skies.
And yet, this is one of the best attested cases, the extraordinary claims.
The transmitting civilization could make it very easy for us if they wished. Imagine we're in the course of a systematic search, or in the midst of some more conventional radio observations. And suppose one day we find a strong signal slowly emerging, not just some background hiss, but a methodical series of pulses. The total number of stars in the universe is larger than all the grains of sand on all the beaches. The numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, a signal made of prime numbers, numbers divisible only by 1 and themselves. There is no natural astrophysical process that generates prime numbers. We would have to conclude that someone fond of elementary mathematics was saying hello. Very likely, some new Champollion would go on to decode the main message, using our interstellar Rosetta Stone, the common language of science and mathematics. Perhaps they would send a compilation of the knowledge of 1,000,000 inhabited worlds, the Encyclopedia Galactica. The receipt of an interstellar message would be one of the major events in human history, and the beginning of the deprovincialization of our planet. Time to find and modify favorable planets, time to build new spacecraft. Eventually, but even nearby civilizations could spend millions of years roving between the stars without ever stumbling upon our obscure solar system. But advanced interstellar civilizations would know about many worlds, some inhabited, some barren. Perhaps they would share their findings, assembling some vast repository of the knowledge of countless worlds. They might compile an Encyclopedia Galactica. Suppose we could browse through that encyclopedia. Perhaps someday there will be an entry in the Encyclopedia Galactica for our planet. Or perhaps even now there exists somewhere a planetary dossier garnered from our television broadcasts or from some discrete survey mission. They might summon up the index of blue worlds in our province of the Milky Way until they came to the listing for Earth. What would they know about us?
But the critical fact remains that all we have still is just anecdote. There are no close-up photographs, no artifacts, nothing that would convince a skeptic. In Harvard, Massachusetts, a radio telescope monitoring 8 million separate radio channels has been scanning the skies for signals. This program, called META, is supported entirely by the Pasadena, California-based Planetary Society, paid for by members' contributions. A similar Planetary Society search to examine the southern skies, including the center of the Milky Way galaxy, is to be performed in Argentina. These searches are, by far, the most sophisticated ever attempted.
Curious and dispassionate, watching us to determine whether this year again we manage to avoid self-destruction. The search continues.